Hi, welcome to Punchline Talks Politics, a special election hustings. This is part 4. I'm Mark Owen, editor and owner of PunchlineGloucester.com. Today I'm joined by in the studio with Ian Mean, director of Business West and ex-editor of the Citizen Echo and Western Daily Press. Over the next hour, we'll be quizzing Gloucester's election candidates from the three main political parties. I'd like to welcome Richard Graham, Conservative, Rebecca Trimnell, the Liberal Democrats, and Alex McIntyre from the Labour Party. I'd just like to thank our sponsors, Business West. We'll be splitting the hour into 4 segments of 15-minute rounds. Each round will pull the colour of the party out the hat to see who will start first. Okay, Ian, if you'd like to pull out the colour first of all.
Thank you, Mark. Colour is Rebecca, Lib Dems. And our question, Rebecca, and this is a question to each of you, is why should Gloucester get your vote? You've 2 minutes each.
Okay, why should Gloucester get? Okay, so I live in the centre of Gloucester. I really know its strengths, but I also know its weaknesses. I'm forever around the city centre. I've got a little dog who I take for walks constantly, up and down. I'm seeing a lot of people around. I'm also, because being a councillor, I do get to speak to a lot of people about different issues, and I get to speak to the businesses that are around. I'm quite a compassionate person, I believe, and I'm quite passionate about politics and about making a difference in Gloucester. And I feel that there is a different, you don't have to just vote blue or red at this election. You have to vote with your heart. And I think, you know, just go right down the middle and vote Lib Dem. We've got a fully costed manifesto, which I've had good feedback from. And I think this is going to be the election that makes all elections, because it's not all about tactical voting. It's about making sure that you vote for an MP that really will be your voice and really will make a difference to your lives. And that is the very reason why Gloucester should vote for me as the next MP.
Thank you. Richard, why should Gloucester get your vote?
Well, it's a good question, Ian, and everyone will have their different answers. But the case I want to make is that there's been a lot of talk about change in this election. In fact, one party simply has change as their one-word slogan. And change can be very good, but it isn't always good. And there are some things we don't need to change, especially in a very difficult world and quite a difficult re-emergence from a difficult economic time. I believe the economic stewardship of this country is better under Rishi and Jeremy Hunt, and we don't need to change that. We've already talked about the way in which inflation has come down, growth has come back, mortgage and interest rates will be coming down later this summer. And I also don't believe this is a good time for Gloucester to change. We've had a hell of a lot of change over the last 14 years. I would argue a lot of it very positive, whether it's in education, infrastructure, business success, over 5,000 businesses registered in Gloucester, several Queen's Award, now King's Award winners, new industries building, and a sectoral balance between nuclear, aerospace, retail, that is very powerful for the city's future and the aspirations and opportunities of our children. We're getting better results from the schools. They're getting the skills they need. This is going to lead to higher wages. And all of those things are positives for the people of Gloucester. Added to which, we got a number of really important projects, which I've fought hard for, particularly from the Levelling Up funds, the ones that are going to transform the city centre. That's Levelling Up Fund 1, with the first ever university campus in the centre of Gloucester in the entire 2,000 to 3,000 year history of the city. And then the second one, which is focused on Eastgate and Greyfriars and bringing that area more up to life, making it more vibrant. So we've got a lot of things on. The Medical Innovation Centre that's going to come in the forum, the underpass, the first time for 150 years that someone in a wheelchair or with a pushchair will be able to go from the city centre to the hospital without having to go down those steep steps. So these are all changes that are good, they're achievable, we're doing them. We should continue with that, and we should continue with the MP who's been leading on that for the last 14 years.
Thank you, Richard.
Alex, why should Gloucester get your vote?
At this election, the choice facing residents across Gloucester is clear. Do they want 5 more years of Conservative chaos and decline, or change with Labour? And that change is real change that will impact the lives of every resident here in Gloucester. Because we know if you vote for the Conservatives or any other party on Thursday, you'll end up with Rishi Sunak back as your Prime Minister, and waiting lists in the NHS will continue to go up. We'll continue to have economic chaos because of their 71 billion in unfunded spending and tax commitments. And we know that the crime on our streets will not get tackled. So Labour has a plan for change that will support every family here in our city, tackling the cost of living crisis, making sure you can see your GP and dentist when you need to, tackling the antisocial behaviour and crime on your street, building more affordable homes, and ensuring the best start for your children across the city. That is what you get if you vote for Labour on Thursday and vote for change and vote for me to be your MP.
Thanks, Alex. And
Right, we're just next question, a minute each as well. We'd just like each of you to say one positive thing about each other candidate.
first of all, Richard.
What would you like to say, Alex, to Alex and Rebecca?
Well, I've known Rebecca for several years. She's an extremely nice, caring, thoughtful woman, and I could work and have worked with her easily on a whole number of issues. I don't think, Rebecca, that actually being an MP would suit you. I don't think you would enjoy it. It's a tough old world, but I am absolutely admiring of your determination to put yourself before voters and offer yourself to be their representative. If you'd like me to say something on Alex as well, Alex, I think it's a crying shame you're not the candidate in your own constituency in Stroud. I don't know quite what happened there, whether you lost to the doctor. I think you'll be a better candidate than he is there. I think it's a great shame that when you were elected candidate, you didn't come and actually do things in the city. You know, saying you're a member of Gloucester City Football Club and the rugby club is great, but what have you actually done? But what I do respect is that, you know, as a lawyer, you marshal your arguments for Keir Starmer's representative in Gloucester well, and I think you would undoubtedly be a good representative of a Labour government that would undoubtedly increase taxes and make life a lot harder for many people here. So I admire your tenacity in wearing your rosette wherever you go. I hope not to bed, and representing Labour and Keir Starmer effectively.
Rebecca.
What would you like to say nice about Alex and Richard? Who first?
Okay, so yeah, I've known Richard for many years. He's a very charming man, and a lot of people like him. He's very personable. He remembers who you are, which I think is a very good trait to have. And he is definitely a gentleman. So yeah, that's the good things about Richard. I can't go on, otherwise it might just grow his head a little bit larger, but that's all genuine compliments actually, Richard. So with Alex, it's been a pleasure to meet Alex. He's very passionate. He's a great believer in the Labour manifesto, which shows, and I respect his level of skill as well, and I just feel that politics is hard. It is hard, and but yet he comes in, and I think he's got a great future in politics. Whether or not that's in Gloucester, we shall see. But I think that yeah, he's a jolly good chap.
Okay.
And Alex.
What can you say? A nice thing about Richard and Rebecca, or a positive thing?
Well, just to clear the misapprehension, I've never applied to be the Stroud candidate. Only one of us on this call, as I understand it, ever applied to be the candidate for Stroud, and that was Richard. But I didn't. I've always wanted to stand here in Gloucester, and that's where I'm standing. But Richard, you know, you have spent the last 14 years serving our city and putting our politics aside. I know how difficult this job is and can be on you and your family. And I would like to say thank you for your service and your public service, because it is a public service. And that's really important to recognise, putting all political differences aside. And Rebecca, you've always been a fierce champion, particularly on graffiti. I've never seen someone pointing at so much graffiti in so many photos. And that is fantastic, because we need to tackle antisocial behaviour in our city and the graffiti that is blighting it, and continue to do so as a councillor.
Okay, well, thank you ever so much for all of that, all of you. And that is all we've got time for, unfortunately. I'd just like to thank all three candidates and to wish you all the very best on Thursday evening as well. I'd like to thank my co-host Ian Mean and Business West, but also I'd like to thank our viewers for watching. And most important of all, the one thing and one takeout of it for me is no matter what your view of any political party or any of the other parties, it is really important that you do actually go out there and vote, no matter who it's for. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you enjoy the show, please like, share and subscribe. And remember, it's all in the punchline, Gloucester.com. Thank you.
Thank you.